How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac Extra Value Meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by The Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, we have an amazing guest today. We're here with Jen Carroll, one of the stars of season 6, one of our favorite guests here on the podcast, and our favorite Philadelphian.
Yes.
This is fantastic. Jen, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Back on season 6, so it's kind of fun to look back and see how I've changed and see what a baby I was back then. It's awesome, young baby, not baby.
What were you doing at this point in your set the stage for what Jennifer Carroll was doing before she went on Top Chef?
So before I went on Top Chef season 6, I had just recently opened 10 Arts by Eric Ripert in the Ritz-Carlton in Philadelphia. So I was there for almost a year, and that was my first, chef role. And back home in Philadelphia for the first time after living in New York and San Francisco for a really long time, it was back home and, just figuring things back out again.
Had you watched season 6 since season 6?
No.
Wow. So we're talking like 10, 11 years since you last tuned into that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know when it was on. 2010?
9 or 10. Yeah, it was filmed in, I think, 09. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So what was your, general impressions of who you were? Just the entire scene, the show, your place in the world, you as a chef. What was the takeaway from those 42 minutes?
Number one, just seeing how young everybody is and seeing, I'm like, all right, I'm like, God, I'm like, I feel like I was so low energy when being interviewed too. And when I thought I had energy, I'm talking very quiet and I think it's because I was really focused and I was really I was extremely hard on myself back then. And I was just so all about cooking and only cooking in my career. And I was really nervous about being on the show for the first time because, Chef Ripert is actually the one that pushed me to do it. I did not want to apply for the show at all. And I was really worried about how I was going to look to my, my fellow colleagues after working in the industry for a long time. So I think I was just like hyper focused on that. It's like also kind of crazy. Like I was watching Ashley and Ash and just missing like that, like friendship and bond that we had. Like we talk over Instagram and over social media, but it's definitely has come down over the years. And I would definitely like to like reignite our friendship again. The bond is always still there whenever anyone who goes on Top Chef, whether I know them or not, you're part of the family and you understand like I don't want to say the horror, but the terror and the nerves and the excitement and all of that goes into it. So it's that automatic relationship, but I would love to get back together with them.
I noticed how emotional you were at the end of the episode. And for those, well, actually, I'll just tell you, we are treating this rewatch like no spoilers, like okay. Whoever wins this whole entire Top Chef thing. So just a word to the wise, we are trying to keep no spoilers for future episodes. We could talk all we want about everything up until this point. But in terms of who wins or what happens after this episode with you, we're trying to keep things under wraps for those who are watching for the first time. But I did notice, and we'll get into this later in the show when we recap it, how emotional it was for you when you saw Ashley go home. We didn't really get to see a lot of that on this show, just the relationship you had with Ashley and some other contestants on the show. But who were you closest with now that you rewatched this episode and looking back?
Ashley was my best friend on the show. We were roommates. We just automatically became close to each other. We bonded with each other. We talked about food. We talked about like lifestyles and, talked about family. And it was just, she was really fun. She has a great personality and we just got along really well. So when she left, I was really sad. I get along fairly well with everybody, but she was my support system. So I was not happy to see her go home at all.
We'll talk about Ashley because she's had a really fascinating career since then. And in New York, especially since, I think the viewers' understanding is, hey, she is a young woman who grew up, in poverty in sort of the backwoods of, I believe, Washington State. And, she kind of rolled out this kind of really interesting career in Manhattan subsequent to the show. So, that's one of the fascinating things is Tom and I kind of do a where are they now at the conclusion of each show. We can get back to that, but it's just one of the fun things about rewatching this season, because I really haven't done rewatches of previous season, is then running to the internet and saying, all right, what happened to this show? Some of them, you're well aware of what they were able to accomplish. Like I ate at Michael Voltaggio's restaurant a million times, but others, I'm not as plugged into the New York scene and just saying, oh, wow, really interesting career that whether it was Top Chef that precipitated or just their arc as a chef. And that's been among the really fun things.
Yeah, I know where pretty much everyone from this season is, and it's fun to see. But Ashley, yeah, she was working with Alex Guanacelli at the time, and so that's also like another thing we related to is because of me working with Chef Eric Repair. It's like, okay, we worked with a really famous, really well-known chef, and we worked underneath them and really got as much as we could out of them and love them. So we both had that mentorship of a great chef, but also a chef that was involved in, the media and the whole like TV scene, which was still pretty new, about 11 years ago. It was set, but it wasn't anything like it is today.
Well, let's get into the fun here, Kevin. Let's go from the top. And I did a little bit of research before I asked you, Jen, to come on this episode, but this was a very interesting episode right up from the top. We learned that you were sick going into this competition. So Kevin, let's get started.
Yeah. And I want to recognize, Jen, we're not going to act like you did this last week. It's like, yeah, what was he thinking with a mushroom salad with the shiso? Like Isabella, because it's like, I'm just trying to imagine. I don't remember what I ate last week. So right. I certainly, I want to talk about some of the dishes also because food is different, you see sort of some of the influences of the era. and stuff that we can kind of like have a good, all right. So let's just start with you. Your quick fire. You finish on the bottom, and there was a very bitchy comment, which I was trying to get inside your head when you were told. So Jen, you did scallops with pistachio and salmon roe, and let's talk about the conceit. It was a really dumb conceit with the.
Hated it.
Jen, tell us about the conceit of this particular quick fire.
So what we had to do, we went up and we had to pull a slot machine, and we had to get 3 descriptions and make a dish with it. And mine was nutty, American, and adventurous.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I was not in the right mindset at all. I was sick. I was literally throwing up like in the trash can. They didn't show that, thank God.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not a good day for me, but
Kevin, this is her flu game.
This is the flu game. This is totally in basketball, like in the parlance of basketball. You got the flu and then you go right out there.
Yeah, I'm like, you work through it. I mean, maybe not so much anymore, but and I grabbed scallops. I grabbed caviar roe and or salmon roe and artichokes, and I sliced them really thin and cooked the scallop perfectly, I thought. And adventurous, you know what, salmon roe might not be adventurous or new to
Tyler Florence, but
Tyler Florence, but to my father, to I would say a lot of people in America who that is pretty adventurous to them, and a lot of people will not touch that if you tell them what it is. So he's like, oh, we've been doing that in restaurants for years, and I'm like,
Right. You're like, I'm sorry, like where are the chapelinas? Like we didn't see the crickets out there. Like what? Like I didn't bungee jump while I was cooking this. Like it was a little bit obnoxious, I have to say. I mean, I'm sure he's probably a good guy and he was doing these. He clearly was a charitable chef, but I was just like, on your behalf, I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even Go ahead, Jen.
Go ahead. I was going to say, and I feel like because he thought it was too common of a dish that I put together, that it wasn't adventurous enough. And I think that's why I got put on the bottom, not for overall flavor and execution of the dish. So I was just like, okay, this is how it's going to go today.
Yeah. I was watching and, I didn't even suspect you were going to be in the bottom. I wasn't like, ooh, that's going to be a bottom 3 dish. Usually you can pretty much tell which ones are going to fall in the bottom. But Kevin, I didn't even understand the words that they were putting, stressed. What?
Like what is that? Like what is food that expresses your stress? I would imagine food that expresses your stress would be shitty. Like, I just put this together. My head wasn't in it. I was just really or blue. Like, I'm sad and let me reflect food that makes me it was a bizarre set of attributes they wanted you guys to achieve.
I still don't understand what stressed is supposed to be in food. I'm like, is it, I'm still trying to figure it out. Is it like you said, is it like a piece of meat or a carpaccio that I'm pounding out, or pasta that I'm rolling?
Or is it
I
like that.
I don't know.
Stuff you stress eat. Here's a bag of Doritos. That's what I eat when I'm stressed.
Or is it stuff that you strain through something, you stress it out, almost like you're maybe pushing through a strainer or something like that. Maybe there's that. I don't know. Stressed. It didn't tired, stressed. I guess you're trying to go for Vegas. You're up all night and you're at the craps table and you're powering through. I didn't quite understand this one. But then let's see.
By the way, where are you on the money versus immunity question? Because
Money.
Of course, right? You don't have enough confidence that you can't finish in the top 9 out of 10. You don't belong on the show anyway, right?
Exactly.
Take the money.
Money every single time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. But I do want to ask, where is the level here? Let's say episode 7, Top Chef. You're in the middle of the season. You're offered immunity. How much, if we're going to do an auction, is going to be that dollar? How much is the immunity worth? So
Tom, I think you have to raise the stakes. I think it's that's an easy one. It's when you get to the final 5, do you take the immunity?
Yeah. I'm
how small does the contestant pool have to be when you say, all right, screw the money, I'm so close, I'll take the immunity if it
But
buys
then
me
there's the
another
whole
week.
like Jamie Lynch factor, where he's like, screw immunity. I don't want to stay in the competition. I want to do it on fair grounds.
Yeah.
Right. It's so controversial, and it's totally like, who you are as a chef, I think, because like the whole idea of immunity, like, are you still going forth and are you truly putting forward your best foot? And if you end up in the bottom, are you going to go, oh, well, I had immunity, so I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. Like, I was just playing around, and then make everybody else mad at you because everyone knows that you're totally fucking bullshitting, because you don't just make whatever you want to make whatever you want. You try and win every single time. So I don't know. I think, if it's the last episode and it's whether you go to the finals or not,
I think I might take the immunity. I think I might do it.
How much money? Is the money higher though? Does
Tom,
the money go up to like 50,000, 20,000?
See, now we're talking, Jen. Now we're talking. So if it's, it also depends where I'm at in my life. If I got another kid coming along, or if I got a new car I want to get, or if I got to put some down payments on a new restaurant, or whatever it is, it's gonna change the factor here. But definitely 15,000 was an easy call for Kevin here, I feel like. But if it was like $1,000, I think he might. No, I think still you're taking $1,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still pretty like early on, and I think Kevin was pretty confident in his skills and knew. But yeah, like $1,000, and you're unsure. If you're unsure and haven't done, or you've been in the bottom, maybe you take that immunity. Yeah. Top Chef screws with your head.
Kevin won with he's really good at this. Like he does you're basically a banh mi without the baguette, right? Like a char-grilled pork, the marinated daikon, that Vietnamese herb salad. It was like sort of the low carb style banh mi. He's a really good contestant. You even see it back then. He just knows how to do this.
He knows how to put flavor combinations together, and he may not cook those certain things, but he eats those things. He knows what works, right? It's not like he only eats what he cooks. So he's very, very smart in many different ways.
So you guys
elimination?
You're going from the not Last Chance Kitchen, from the quick fire. You're not told really what your elimination challenge is, but did you have kind of a hint that you might be cooking at home?
Yeah, because they always did that then. Like you literally had no idea, because they would lead you with something. And so we were always like on our toes, looking out the windows, or like you hear a car pull up and you're like, is it Gail? Is it Padma? Is Padma going to walk through the door and tell us like we're doing something? Or is it just they're switching over crews that are in the house, and it's a PA coming with snacks for the camera guys or something like that. So, but like we were always on edge. And when Padma and Lee, leaves you hanging, it's totally on purpose. Like you see all of us like something's going down here. Like we're all like something's going down. And when we walk into the house, the pantry is just fully stocked. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more pots and pans out. There's like the plates out, and we're like, everyone's like, yeah, this is not a nice dinner for all of us to just enjoy and like sit back. So we were all kind of like on edge waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. I typically love challenges where the chefs are fighting over space and infrastructure, because I just think it's like a surefire recipe for conflict. And, I'm not above that as a viewer. I'd like to see a little conflict, Mm-hmm. I mean, the lovey-dovey of season 17 was wonderful just because the level of cooking was so great. It didn't matter that there was no conflict. Gotta say, like a little conflict. And so you guys are going to work in pairs to prepare, like basically each of the 5 teams will prepare one family style dish, and you get paired with Kevin. Both of you, throughout your seasons, are just really good at working with like a 1-person team, except when that one person gets sick or whatever. In your case, but like I think congenitally, you're collaborative. There's no ego there. It's just like, hey, let's just be a pragmatic, creative team. Let's put our heads together and come up with something. So like watching y'all cook together and come up with the thing. And you guys were so smart about what you came up with.
Yeah, like, number one, Kevin's very easy to work with. So I was always happy whenever I got paired with him. And, like I knew there wasn't going to be any tension. And like you said, like the ego's taken out because we want to make it the best as we possibly can. And really, like, you have to use each other's strengths in order to win. You can't, when you're in a team, you can't really go at it alone, because that's when shit goes down and like it doesn't turn out the way that you think it's going to turn out. So, Kevin and I, like, we first start looking and literally like we're pulling everything out of Tom Douglas's bag and we're like, where is the protein? Where is the protein? What are we going to get? And we're looking around and everyone's like, I got this fish and I got this. And then finally, like when we got down to like the Kobe beef ribs and we realized what they were, we were so happy. We're like, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be easy. And like Kevin, like this is our whole like profile. We thought about cooking, serving, and how they were going to eat it, how the sauce was going to be, like having that extra crunch of the raw like pear on top with the crispy bok choy and the segments of orange, along with, Kevin was going to focus on cooking the meat. I was going to focus on making the sauce. And then we came together at the end to plate, and talking the whole time, communicating with each other is really, truly important.
When you're out there and you know that you have to draw knives, are you just thinking in your head? Do you have a draft order in your head, like a power rankings of which chef you want to be paired with?
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to reveal them here?
No.
Well, I will say you did an amazing job with Michael Voltaggio a few episodes earlier. You guys had worked together, and it was as if you guys were together working as a team for years.
Yeah, we should have won that one.
Yeah.
I think we should have won that one. Bryan and Lorene won, and that me and Michael took that one for sure. I'm like, But yeah, it's playing, Michael and I also have like sort of the same similar background, the same cooking style, and could really understand exactly what we wanted. And so it's easy. It's easy to work with people that have progressed to the same levels that you have, and that, have that same background and that same understanding and the same mentality of making things as perfect as possible. So yeah, it was very easy to work with him as well.
So as everyone was going through the ingredients, like kind of, as you said, rifling through, like we have this, Ashley said something that just completely sparked an idea for me, which is she's like, yeah, and we've got duck for days.
Duck for days.
I would totally eat at a restaurant called Duck for Days. Like, I mean, Jen, as I've been saying on this show, I've discovered duck in my home cooking. Near you in Lancaster, there is a farm that just has the best duck, and I've been getting shipped out to Los Angeles like 25 pounds at a time.
No way.
Every Tuesday I do a confit and I do breasts. And so it's duck
up.
2 ways at my house, and I get the. I'm just showing off because, like, you're like an amazing chef, and I'm just sort of doing that thing. And I take like the plums during the summer stone fruit season, and I make like a I don't know, like a. It's not a chutney. It's more.
Like a pickle or a ferment?
No. More like a sauce.
Okay.
Compote, or maybe a little red wine vinegar, and that's all I need because it's so lovely and sweet. And I just do that breast. I've learned how to like render the fat. Meanwhile, in my fridge, and my partner just thinks it's hilarious, there must be like 7 pints of really good duck fat I've strained. And
I was just going to ask you, like, what are you doing with all the duck fat?
Like using it with everything, and like giving it to friends who cook, and just saying, like, I mean, who sends their dinner guests away with, hey, this is thank you for coming. Here is a pickle jar worth of duck fat.
I would be so happy if I left your house like that.
You have the best goodie bags, Kevin.
I mean, first of all, confit, you just like salt it and throw it in like a Dutch oven. Like who knew? And then it's like breast, like once you get the rendering, you kind of get the timing and, you know, it's like, why have I not been cooking duck at home for like my entire life?
Cooking anything. And I mean, that goes into cooking. Like it's not as hard as everybody thinks, and everybody is so intimidated by it. If you just get in the kitchen and start doing it, and yeah, all right, maybe you watch a YouTube video, maybe you watch a show or read something. And if you try it, you only get better at cooking by practice. It's the only way you get better, by making mistakes and figuring out how to fix those mistakes and fix those failures and moving on, have fun.
Speaking of mistakes and getting over adversity, Michael Voltaggio and Ash had a circuit breaker issue where the power was going out. And I wanted to ask you, Jen, when Michael Voltaggio is asking, hey, can I borrow your outlet right here? Are you just shouldering him out of the way?
Sadly, no. Maybe, I think he was up against enough, and I could see the demise of like what was going on, because their circuits were popping the entire time. And honestly, they should have made that move a lot sooner than, waiting, because the circuits kept popping from the very start. So
it was just that room, or was it throughout the house?
It was just that room, because they had multiple. I mean, he said it, he was very smart, right? You think he's very smart because he's setting up his whole like catering style kitchen. He's got like induction burners. He has the wok boiling water. He had like the electric griddle. So he was really smart, because he's like, all right, I'm going to take this whole room for prep. I don't need to fight with anybody. But because all of the stuff that's like overloading, and what you guys don't see, the behind the scenes stuff, there's lights plugged into there, there's like all other stuff. And so every like couple minutes, like his circuit was popping. He should have moved out a lot sooner than he did, but Michael's pretty strong-willed and just kept going with it until he was like, all right, I need to ask for some room. So
Mike and Ash, and this is across seasons, this happens. There's a certain dynamic between when there's a 2-chef team. There are all these unstated realities, like they're in the same competition, but they both know that Voltaggio is the more advanced, more experienced, and more creative chef. But it's not like he's going to be a dick and say, like, I talk and you listen. Because if you do, and like, oh, by the way, Ash, if you just skate with me, like, you will skate to the next challenge. Yeah. Like you might even learn something. Trust me. And it is funny to see at times. I mean, where it becomes really amusing as a viewer when it's one chef who's not decidedly better than the other, who kind of pulls that alpha card and just says, hey, you're along for the ride.
Yeah. I mean, that whole dynamic was weird. Like, yes, is Michael Voltaggio at that time, like in their lives, was he a better chef? He's a different style chef. He has a lot more experience in a way. And Ash was trying to skate with him and trying to go along with him. And, like I said earlier, like collaboration, you need to play on each other's strengths, like not just kind of ignoring people. I think if Ash had a little more confidence to speak up, I don't know, but he also recognized that.
Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago. And I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
you're like, well, I'm just going to listen because I could win this challenge.
Yeah, like Kevin, Matisse Thybulle is not going to steal the ball away from Joel Embiid and be like, it's my shot in crunch time. Like everyone knows Embiid's got the last shot, and it's going to really disrupt the locker room if he just starts pulling rank and just decides I'm gonna take every shot here because I believe I should be the star player. Ash, I would have done the same thing if I were in Ash's shoes. I don't think I would have asserted myself more because I knew that Michael needed to be driving that car, or else you're not going to get the best Mike Voltaggio. And so without the circuit breaker issue, I think they might have been in the top.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everything was nicely done. It was nicely plated. The ravioli came out nice, but also Tom.
Egg yolk ravioli. Kevin,
they didn't like it.
But
and
Tom didn't
funny.
like it. Tom didn't like having because when you put that ravioli on top of what was supposed to be the crispy pancetta, it then takes that crispness away. So they didn't like that. I mean, I don't know. Who the heck knows what the judges think? You think you know, and you're totally wrong half the time.
One of the things that dawns on me when Tom and it was, we had so much fun watching you play you avoid Tom playing hide and seek in the kitchen a couple of weeks ago. But it does dawn on me with Tom, he's not really asking questions to get inside your head. He's actually not all that deceptive. If he looks skeptical, if you say, hey, prawns on time of gnocchi, chances are he's legitimately skeptical. Everyone is always like, oh, he's playing mind games with you. It's like, no, he actually doesn't have a poker face. If he thinks what you're doing is weird, it'll look like that's what he thinks. If he's curious about what you're doing or finds it, fascinating and intriguing, he'll look potentially fascinated and intriguing. And
sometimes those looks are confusing though, because you're like, are you fascinated and intrigued? Or are you like, why are you doing that?
Interesting. If he gives a very ambiguous, okay.
Also,
okay. Are you sure?
Do we still have Yeah. Also, how weird was that color commentary cutaway to Tom with a Vegas skyline behind him, his little halftime analysis, which we just totally don't get anymore.
Right. I'm trying to remember what happened. I watched it again this morning, but
so usually when Tom does the walking into the kitchen and asking you questions, that's it. There's no recap. Hey, Tom Colicchio, what did you think about what Jen said in the kitchen? There is no recap of the recap. So in this episode, we got a little cutaway to a confessional Tom Colicchio about, hey, what was the report? And I was like, I thought we already did the report.
Yeah. It's funny to see some things that, for me, that have changed over the years and going back in the different styles of production and just even the differences in the kitchens and how they're stocked. But yeah, the way that Tom was but even when he was at the table and he was like, okay, well, Jen Carroll, he was literally hosting the whole thing and being directing. Jen Carroll and Kevin Gillespie made a Korean barbecue with a fragrant cardamom tomato chutney broth. And, that was weird too. I think,
is there anything else that you picked up on and you're like, oh yeah, we don't do that anymore? Or things that you were like, oh, it's a good thing we do this now?
Stew room. There's pretty much minimal stew room because they have all of the chefs at the judges table for majority of it. So you're only in the stew room for not that long at all.
Is that a torture chamber?
Yeah. It used to be. It used to be, and now the stew room is leather couches and drinks with any type of coffee, water, tea, beer, wine, and then there's food, there's snacks. There's plenty of room to spread out. And on season 6, we're literally in a closet with Metro racks, and we're laying on a dirty floor because we're tired, and we have uncomfortable folding chairs, and we're in there for 8 hours and just
no.
Yeah,
really,
it sucks. No. Yeah. And
I'm assuming 45 minutes you guys are in there.
So there is a major difference in production of how quick Judges Table is now and how quickly they make the decision. as opposed to 10 years ago, season 6. So literally, like, we sitting in between the winners. So are we up to that part yet? Like, so
yeah.
I want to ask you about one thing.
Okay.
The level of disdain for Robin is astounding. She is treated like Piggy in Lord of the Flies. And I mean, it's just, I don't know if that's the editing, and I'm not trying to put you in an awkward position, but it's just like, look, she seems annoying, but it got to the point with me where it was just like, oh, be charitable. Like, this is a person. You know, I know everyone's under stress, but like the level, I don't recall another season where there was this kind. And it's a certain kind. It's not like somebody who, I mean, the truth is she is struggling. The truth is she's probably not as adept a chef as the rest of you, but it's just like, it's kind of uncomfortable.
It is, and it was living with it because Robin was my other roommate. So during the season, like when we first got there, you know, I had Ashley and Robin. It was the three of us in our bedroom. And yes, people did not get along with Robin. People could not stand her. People were extremely annoyed and very frustrated with her. And for me, does she talk a lot? Does she say everything that's on her mind? Yeah. I just zone her out. Like, I'm just like, you can't let it bother you because she got under like everybody's skin. And instead of, you know, I don't know, my mom always taught me to treat everybody the same and treat everybody with fairness and to be friends with everybody. And I still carry that way. And I still believe that whether I know I'm going to be good friends with them or not, like, you still treat people with respect no matter what, whether you know, we're living together, it's different. Like, you have to be civil. And she just was not treated with a lot of civility from a lot of the other chefs. And it was kind of disappointing to see because we are adults. You know, we're not, you kind of get converted into this, you know, I don't know, like school
It is Lord of the
girl,
Flies.
school kid. It is, because there's zero interaction with the outside world. It's like being on a desert island because there's nothing else to do except for interact with each other.
It also dawns on me. I mean, I think it's clear what became a source of frustration for everybody else is not just the yapping, but watching people you perceive as inordinately better chefs go home and watch someone else squeak by. Like, I've noticed that in other seasons where it isn't personal, where, you know, it's just, oh, come on. Like to watch Ashley go home. I mean, Ashley's really good. And she'd also been cooking her ass off. And that was one of the heartbreaks of this episode was she'd had a lot of good weeks. She'd really been cooking well. But yeah, I think that also seemed to me as much of a source of irritation was, I can't believe she's still in the competition when other better chefs have gone home.
It 1000% was a conversation, and it was a conversation probably a little too much and a little bit too out loud and a little bit, you know, where it was just, it ended up being just straight up mean to her.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I honestly felt bad for her. She would get up and like do yoga in the morning, and she ended up trying to like separate herself. And I don't know, like, she is a good person, you know, it's a shame, but you know, like, I also like, I liked quiet. Like, I like to like think, and I like to focus, especially going from like challenge to challenge. And so whenever like we would go to the grocery store to go shopping, I would strategically hold back a little bit and see, you know, not just where Robin was going, but where everybody was going, and then decide which car I was going to get in, because I knew, number one, if there was a certain chef that I wanted to bounce an idea off of, which was pretty much never, because I always kind of stayed in my own head. But it was also, I knew who the talkers were. Robin would talk the whole time. And that was also a source of frustration for people, because they would be like, can you please be quiet? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to like put together my dish. And she just talked about her dish to everybody and kind of interrupted their own flow.
I didn't realize that. So the producers don't give you the car assignments. You can actually strategically pick your car.
Yes.
Oh.
So yeah,
It's a little bit of strategy there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't share that strategy with anybody, but I mean, there's multiple different strategies that you can do. Also, like at the grocery store at Whole Foods, I took the entire time to shop, whether I was done shopping or not, because I was going up and down the aisles and seeing what they had there and preparing myself mentally for the next shop. So there's different tricks that I guess you do to make yourself have a better chance. And they were just two of the things that I did consistently.
So on the top was Bryan Valtaggio and Lorene. They did a plan-hosted halibut over a corn cake with a sherry.
Of course, Bryan does a halibut. Yeah.
By the way, Jen, I find halibut, it's so lean that I feel like I've never made a great piece of halibut. And, it's a tough, I like fattier fish. And maybe because I'm a very intermediate chef, it's just like, man, I've tried halibut. I love it in restaurants. I can never get it here.
You get it dry. You dry it out all the time?
Yeah. I just feel like it doesn't have that succulence that, like frankly, good restaurants have.
I'll cook you halibut and change your life.
Yeah. No, I love it. It just doesn't love me.
You should poach it. I can give you a poaching liquid, and it's not just pure water. It's made with a slurry and some other flavor, and like Pernod and a little bit of like cardamom, star anise. You can leave that out, but having a poaching liquid that is not made of water or stock, that has a heavier fat content in it, it will push and keep all of the liquid and moisture in. So I personally don't like seared halibut. I like poached halibut, or if you poach it in olive oil, it will keep it much more succulent and moist and juicy, and I think the flavor and texture that you're looking for. So
I tried it. I tried it poaching it in butter, like butter poaching, and it was gross. Like I had that slime on it. Like I got that little slime, and it was just like greasy. And I'm just doing it wrong.
Jen got really excited when you said butter poached, and then
but all right. Well, then
I got that slime.
So all right. Go my poaching liquid method.
I'm seriously going to text you. Like, I want your poaching liquid. And also, I love cardamom. It is like my favorite. I was so happy. Cardamom is my favorite flavor. It's that Turkish coffee yumminess. I just love that spice.
Yes, me too. I can use it in anything. Sweet, savory, all the time.
So, did you know that you had a winning dish?
I knew it was good. Yeah. I knew it was good. I knew the meat was like cooked perfectly. It was marinated nicely. I know like the extra, like the citrus and the pear on top, like the dish had everything it needed. And just looking around, I really thought that we were on the top, but again, like you question yourself and you question what the judges are going to like. And you have a bunch of different chefs that you haven't cooked for yet the entire season. So you don't know what they're going to be saying, because their opinions, might not fully matter in the end, but when they are saying stuff, they're all listening. So like Gail and Tom and Padma and Toby are all listening and hearing what they're saying. So it can definitely, what they say can skew their opinions of the dish.
Tell us about your broth.
So I made
the winning broth.
The winning broth.
Also a great restaurant.
Like you beat 5 proteins with your broth. Come on. I mean, that is just a badass win.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at making sauces. Maybe not on the Top Chef All-Stars, but sauces are one of my completely favorite things to do, and this broth is still one of the sauces and broths that I make to this day. And I made it with like a base of tomatoes and ginger, garlic and shallots. And when I was sweating them all out, I had a ton of cardamom and star anise, a little bit of fennel seed, and let that all completely sweat out and release all of their flavors and aromatics. And then
when you say sweat out, I'm sorry to interrupt. So what do you mean when you say sweat out? Like if I'm going to do this?
Okay, so a medium to low heat. So I'm not getting any caramelization on it. I'm letting all of the vegetables and aromatics.
And no oil or butter or anything like that? No fat?
I do. I do a little bit of oil. Well, for this one, I do a little bit of a neutral oil. I did grapeseed oil, and I do about a tablespoon of butter. So I do a mixture.
Okay.
And I put the oil in first, let the oil coat the bottom of the pan, and then I add the butter, and then I add my garlic and shallots first. I wait a minute, let them get soft. Then I add my ginger, let that get soft. And I always add ginger in at the end too, to give it that pop and like refreshing. Not refreshing, but just like that liveliness where that bite comes back at you. I put some citron vinegar in there. Still like one of my favorite vinegars to use. So it had a little bit of like tanginess, and it had the acid from the tomatoes breaking down and all of that. So it was just super light, but hearty enough to stand up to the fattiness of the Kobe beef without being heavy. So I think that's really what made the dish win, because it wasn't one note. It wasn't like heavy, or it wasn't too light to stand up to the meat.
Did you strain it then?
Yes.
Okay. And then it creates this like lovely broth. And how did y'all serve it? Like beef, was it sitting in the broth or?
So I kept the broth on the side, and then when we got out to the table, I poured the broth table side into the plate. So we chose a platter that we could slice the meat super thin, so it was really easy to eat and easy to chew. So when eating it medium rare to rare, it broke down nicely in your mouth. And then we poured the warm broth not directly on the meat, but around. So bringing it out in the saucier keeps it hot and warm. And then like it also, that smell, just like comes out and like takes over the whole table, because it was super
coming out
aromatic,
right now. I'm smelling it as
like,
you're talking. I'm like, I'm so
like
hungry right now.
Yeah. So that was like, that's like another trick that you can do, is keep everything on the side and then put it together. When, when you're at a restaurant and you have tableside service come out, it's different. Not all restaurants can do that. It's not the style for everything, but having that one little like last extra step, takes it to the next level. So
when you're up there serving to the guests, they knew that you did the broth then, or did you discuss it more or we didn't get to kind of see the super big discussion at judges table, but did they talk a lot about your broth that didn't make it to air? Because they quickly kind of did a little analysis and then they moved on.
Oh yeah. I mean, they asked me kind of just like what you guys did. How did I make it? What did I put into it? How long did it take to cook? How did I develop that much flavor in it in such a short time in a home kitchen? All of that. So they asked me all of those things, and they talked about how they were eating it, off of the plate, but because I served it in the saucier, there was extra, and I left it on the table. And they ended up passing the sauce boat all around, and they were all eating it like soup. So it kind of became its own dish in that sense. So that definitely helped me out too, because they could see it completely alone too.
It seemed like one of the errors so Michael Voltaggio, like unusually on the bottom with Ash, and then Eli and Ash Lee. They did a carbonara halibut that just apparently, as the judges said, the pancetta that it was wrapped in wasn't crisp, and then just a sort of they didn't nail the textures, and then the egg yolk ravioli, which by the way I have had. Voltaggio is really into sort of egg yolk pastas, and I actually just last week as a coincidence, I was talking about the egg yolk gnocchi that he had in Ink. It was one of those dishes we had to order 2 of at the table for 4 because I needed my own and I wasn't going to share.
That I've had that before at Ink, and it is delicious. His food is so good.
So good.
I'll tell you what, he got adventurous in the quick fire, and I'm like, oh, he's going to totally win because he's going to do some crazy like modernist technique. And it's funny, look at, like you were saying, like looking back to 10 years ago, like trending, I'm like, that dish that he made with like the curd and the cracker, that was very forward thinking back then. And now I'm just like, oh, okay, like we don't do that anymore. It's kind of like, it's so funny looking back.
My partner makes so much fun of me because he just is like, yeah, Kevin likes a hibiscus ice with some piece of cheese. And like Eric loves just like the gooey, lovely, and who doesn't, right? Like, I mean, he just like the Cinnabon sundae or something, or just like a gooey espresso tiramisu with like.
He loved Robin's dish last week, the cobbler or
that is him. And by the way, bless his heart. He just makes so much fun of me because I started loving those sort of like, herbaceous olive oil cake, like anything that sounded like something that shouldn't be in a dessert was my favorite. Yeah. Seaweed cracker, like what?
Right.
You know what I loved about this episode? The moment when Ash had definitively ceded the reins to Michael Voltaggio. There was this exchange that I wrote down because it was just so perfect. Was when clearly Michael is just making the calls on everything, and he's like, I was thinking a carbonara, and Ash goes, oh yeah, I was totally thinking that too, and we could do a carbonara deconstructed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I was just like, there's no way Ash was really thinking that. He was just like, oh yeah, I was totally thinking that there too. So yeah, good call there.
But Ash is also, he's very, very funny. So he was also just like kind of making fun of himself. Like, well, yeah, of course. Who wouldn't think that? Like,
yeah, totally.
He'd be stupid if you wouldn't, right? So like that was kind of Ash making fun of himself, which is funny. Like, I think he also made like some line that was like, oh yeah, I was thinking to make like some charred radicchio. He goes, and then Michael says, no, let's make an asparagus coulis. And I was like, oh yeah, well, yeah, duh.
Duh, of course. I mean, who doesn't do an asparagus coulis there?
Yeah.
I really like Ash, but there's a certain level of obsequiousness that just makes everyone uncomfortable when you're just such a bootlicker. Like I was cringing on Voltaggio's behalf. Like I really like Ash, but it's like it just was uncomfortable for everyone. And clearly Tom just thought he was a doormat for being that way. Like it's just
he got carried away there, didn't he? Yeah.
Tom does not like when you express a lack of confidence. He's not gonna like shed a tear for you. It's like, then what are you doing here is always his response, basically.
Yeah. And he like that. I mean, he basically said, well, should we just send you home right now? You're telling us that you're not going to go on to the end. You're telling us that you have no chance of winning. And then you see like Ash kind of pedal back and be like, well, no, obviously I can be here. I cook good food. Michael, who I think is a great chef, overcooked fish. And, like it definitely, I know it made Michael uncomfortable because he came back and he's like, Ash, you didn't have to say all that. Like, thank you. But like, you didn't have to say all that, which is, it's nice that he said thank you, but it's kind of, it was unexpected. And everyone's like, wait, what did you say?
Did you just call him Picasso?
Hey, like, yeah. So
did you feel the brotherly dynamic a lot with the Voltaggios? Because you could clearly see when Kevin is just like poking Bryan, like, oh, what did it taste like this? And Bryan was just, I don't want to hear it right now. It looked, I've never seen Bryan that annoyed.
Oh, that was him standing up for his brother, man. The older brother protector came out like it was like, he was like the lion, like back up.
Yeah.
He was so mad. Like I remember that moment like very clearly because Bryan just was so angry that Michael was in the bottom and that there was a chance of him going home. And as soon as Kevin started talking, he like bites his head off and Kevin's like, ooh. But then I think Kevin's like, how can I get in here? Because, their friendship, the Voltaggios and Kevin, we're not super close then because they were, it was Michael and Bryan the entire time talking and collaborating and pushing each other forward and helping each other in the kitchen. But also they were so extremely competitive with each other. And you see like in the preview for the next show, you see them fighting. And that was not a untypical thing like happening in the kitchen. You could see when one beat the other, how they would kind of get mad and like really want to beat the other one, but they did not want the other one to go home, and they did not want anybody speaking anything bad about the other one. So,
it's funny because it was really interesting to observe like a stressed out Michael Voltaggio in the holding tank, right? Like it doesn't happen very often. And that was just, it's a thing you don't see. And so it was interesting to watch.
Yeah. Listen, Michael was also, he was very hard on himself at literally every single challenge. Up until this point, he's like, I'm going home. I have the worst dish. I'm going home every single time. And finally we're just like, all right, Michael, shut up. But I think that's kind of how we all were, because you literally just pick apart every single piece of your dish. And, it's not, a lot of the times it's not the excellence that you would provide if you were in your own restaurant, because you're not under the stress and the constraints. So yeah, it's crazy.
So you win, Jen. And then how long is the time? Because this just rocked my world. How long is the time between you come back into the stew room, I'm the winner and I got my 10K, to let's find out who gets sent home? How long a time?
So we come back in, I say I'm the winner, and then we announce who is going in next.
Right.
And when we announce who's going in next, we usually sit there for a good 15 minutes to 30 minutes. At least I can't remember now. It's 10 years ago, but we would sit there and you would get the reaction of the people going in and get that emotion, and they start ripping apart their own dishes and thinking and getting in their own heads and kind of preparing what they're going to say as a defense to the judges. So that all goes down. I mean, sometimes it was a half an hour, sometimes it was longer. It's really the schedule, the production. And sometimes it's just the judges are still trying to figure out who they're going to send home. So we could be like, hey, you guys are going in. And it could have been hours because the judges still weren't sure, even though they haven't heard the whole story yet. And then you could stand at judges' table for at least 2-3 hours. Oh. And just standing there and you're not moving, you're in that spot, just dying. And there were times when they would be there was one time when they're like, we're not sure. So everyone go back into stew room. And you're like, what? What do you mean go back into stew room? And that's when they change their mind on what's going to happen. And then they send you back to the stew room, the eliminated chef goes away, and then you sit back in stew room and you talk about the winner, you talk about who went home, you talk about everything. And that could be another 2 hours, because back then production was we want to get the story, we want to make sure we get it. And all of the chefs on my season, we would just be tired. We were doing 17, 20-hour days easily. And we would just, at the end, after everything would happen, we would go, okay, we're done. We'll give you 10 minutes of what we want to talk about. And then we would just put our heads down and stop talking. And the producers caught on pretty quickly and didn't appreciate it. And they're like, you guys, you think you're being smart by wasting our film and our time and our labor, but we are going to continue shooting until you start talking. And so we're like, oh.
It's like a North Korean prison.
We're that did not work.
But meanwhile, did y'all notice that at the judges table on the chopping block, the contestants, the chef testants, they were doing social distancing before social distancing was cool. Everyone's 6 feet apart. And I've noticed obviously that's a from the very beginning thing. And it was just hey, so they were the first to ever do social distancing.
Did you also notice that the lead in with Padma was during these hard economic times, everyone's doing dinner parties at home now. And I was like, whoa, this is feeling on the nose right now.
I mean, I totally felt the same way. And and I was thinking, okay, I'm sick. And before, you worked through being sick. These times, no way. You are not being allowed in the kitchen at all. But then, the dinner parties, talking about hunger, right? And so these are all issues that are still prevalent today. And it's still something that chefs continually rally around to help our communities and to feed the hungry. And it felt old, but it also felt very current at the same time to what is going on right now. So I thought that was a weird connect as well.
You know, one of the things that occurred to me is this was one of the tougher interrogations I recall. You know, we always talk about like, oh, the zinger, when the judges are mean to the chefs that are on the bottom. But to me, the real stress is when the judges, you know, don't do the outright insults, but just keep peppering you with questions.
Yeah.
Like, it's far more stressful. And it's almost like, it's not always like that. And this time it was just these interrogations that kept going. And you felt with each question Tom delivered, it got more and more stressful.
Yeah, it's intense. And even when you're in the winner's circle too, like they do that same interrogation and you're like,
they're playing you off each other, right? You're trying to get someone to reveal something that otherwise.
Exactly. They're playing your emotions. They're playing to see like exactly how you're going to answer. They're playing to see like how you're going to react, how you're going to take that extra additional pressure. But like in the winner's circle, they're like, well, why did you salt that? Even if they think you won. If you say something wrong and they're like, oh, well, you didn't mean to do that. Well, then maybe you shouldn't win. So it's like, it's crazy, but it's funny. Like on this episode, you see Michael take responsibility for the wrongdoings, like immediately, like he knew what he did wrong. He automatically accepted responsibility. Ashley did the same thing. And then it's like funny, like you see Ash, you know, totally acting like a sous chef and, you know, basically saying, send me home. And Eli not taking any responsibility at all. So it, for me, like seeing the dynamic and the level of leadership with those four chefs, I was just like, you can see who is actually higher up and more progressed along in like their career at that moment too.
Ash shouldn't have been sent home, or Ashley should not have been sent home.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a really tough elimination.
Yeah.
Like it's part of her personality though, that she's not gonna rat another guy out on the show. So it's almost like her Achilles heel is that she's too sweet.
Yep.
In that instance, she should have been like, no, he ruined the dish with the salt, and that was not me, that was him. But she's not willing to do that.
And she took the leadership role because Eli was too afraid to cook the prawns because he was too afraid to mess them up, because he knew if he cooked them and messed them up, that he would be going home. So he refused to do it. And so she said, okay, well, I'll do it. You can cook my gnocchi that I just made. Like she made, that's kind of weird. Like that would be like, okay, Kevin, I'm going to start this sauce, but you finish it. That's just not something that you do. Like you have ownership over something. And I think she was trying to be the leader and the nice person in the situation, and it sent her home.
Yeah. You know, meanwhile, I have to tell you, raw, one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life was in Tokyo. I had a raw, like a sashimi spot prawn. So it was like, yeah, they're undercooked, but I really like undercooked spot prawns. And that
also like undercooked chicken, Kevin.
I know. I like undercooked any protein. It's just kind of funny. I'm weird that way.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to die from like salmonella.
Jen, is it just Kevin, or are there people out there that you know that like sashimi, not sashimi chicken, but like a translucent center chicken?
It's not just Kevin, because they do a chicken, like a chicken ceviche or a chicken sashimi over in China. Like they serve raw chicken in China. I'm probably not going for it unless I know the farmer and I know exactly where I'm getting it and I'm the one who's handling it. I'm sorry. Like, you're very brave, Kevin.
Oh, I can't. By the way, I can't defend this. I just think raw poultry is delicious. And there's no defense. I'm going to get. I mean, hopefully at this point I've built up a tolerance, but I am
so
no like
that. You like that texture?
I love that texture. It's like a scallop, like a raw scallop. That's the texture. I'm not. Again, I cannot defend this, and I'm almost embarrassed that I even confess this. And like but I just love it. I'm sorry. I just do.
Good for you. See, cooking, tasting food is subjective.
So Tom Colicchio says, were you happy with the dish? Now, of all the things that Tom Colicchio can tell you or ask you, that's got to be up there on the most nerve-wracking question to get from Tom, right? Were you happy with the dish?
Right.
How do you play that?
He wants to see if you're going to admit your mistakes, if you're going to defend it and, go all in and be like, yes, this is exactly how I wanted it to be. This is exactly what I planned. And that's a question that he really turns around on so many chefs. And it brings a lot of chefs to their knees because they answer it. You lose both ways, right? Because you're admitting what you did wrong, and they might not have seen everything that you've did wrong. They might not have caught everything you did wrong. But all of a sudden now you're like, oh, well, I was supposed to add this on, or I think I was a little heavy-handed with this. And then the judges go, oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And so now they're talking about that. But then if you're like, my dish was perfect, I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's exactly what I wanted. Then they go, oh, well, you're failing as a chef because it was clearly burnt. It was clearly overcooked. It was clearly raw. So if you don't have the ability to even see that, then you shouldn't be here. So yeah, you lose both ways, and Tom wins.
Always.
Yep, always.
So Eli escapes the jaws of Top Chef death, and he stays on the show, but Ashley goes home. You were clearly super emotional about that. You talked about how you were roommates with her and how wonderful a friend she was to you and still is. But my question is, looking back on this season, we had you were doing really well. You had a few high finishes in the top 3, top 4. You had a quick fire win with the citron vinegar with the clam ceviche. But the desert episode, I wanted to ask you, was it as hellish as it seemed? It looked like a hellscape doing the desert cook for the Cowboys. And were there any sort of anecdotes that you remember from that?
It was so hot. And I think the most memorable thing was Ron had this crazy machete or some crazy knife that he was trying to open up a coconut with. And that's like the thing that is burned in my brain. That was like that moment. And he's like swinging this like knife all around. I'm like, oh my God, he's totally going to like get me. And I'm like, I don't know. I remember that. I remember that being, I kind of had fun though. Like it was really hot and it was unexpected. Like I liked sleeping in the tent. Like I liked camping. I liked being in the teepee because the sky was gorgeous that night. So, like I guess I'm blocking out some of the bad things, but yeah, I don't know.
Did you try his cocktail that day?
No.
Okay, good. Because the judges thought it tasted like Pennzoil. So that's good.
Yeah.
Just in closing, what are you up to? And what do you hope to be up to in the near future?
So with COVID and everything that's going on, I've totally pivoted, and with my culinary experience company, I've gone online and I do a lot of virtual online classes. I have a Patreon channel, which I'm building out the tiers right now. So if anybody wants to go on and subscribe, please do. It's Chef Jen Carroll. You can also find all the information on my Instagram handle. I'm offering classes. I'm offering, happy hours to do anything. I've actually done a few really fun quick fires where I'm judging, and I give you the time frame, I give you the ingredients, I judge, and then I show you what I would make. So that's been really, really fun.
But you don't get to taste the food, right?
No.
So you're Instagramming judging. You're just like,
exactly.
Hey, that looks like you cooked that very well. That looks really pretty. That's really fascinating.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like, I mean, you can see if people burn things, or you can see if people don't get stuff on the plate. And, what else am I doing? I have my restaurant Spice Finch in Philadelphia that we are just starting to like reawaken. And we're doing a little bit of outdoor dining and some small like takeout and delivery with a more of a limited menu. But yeah, find me at eatccc.com and reach out to me. I am doing dinners for people in their houses. I'm happy and willing to come and help you organize and show you what to cook, what's in your pantry. So,
hey, I am now, in the time you were speaking, I am now a food enthusiast. I am now a patron.
Yes,
I am stoked. And by the way, like, this is great. Like, I mean, this isn't just I'm supporting a friend. No, this is like, I can't wait. I need to, I need a little more diversity in my rotation. And we're not going anywhere for Clearly. So it's still like, I got to come up with 4 or 5 meals a week. So yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Like on Patreon, like what you'll see is I'm teaching you how to, like, for the foodie enthusiasts, I'm teaching you how to build your pantry of like my favorite ingredients. And it's going to grow into doing recipes and to giving you a more behind the scenes look than what you get from me on Instagram. So it's a lot more personal, and it's a lot more of like a chat that we can have. So it's definitely a lot more fun.
Okay. And you can learn how to poach a halibut.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm like, that can be one of the recipes that I put on.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you guys so much. It's always fun being back and rehashing.
That was so cool. When we first watched the first episode of this show, this season, rewatching it, it was just a time capsule.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So fun. Thank you so much for bringing those memories back to me.
We're going to have to bring you back on because this season is not over.
I'm ready. I'll be back.
I will give you one thing, a spice blend I have gotten so into, and it's right up your alley. Do you know what mechalesha is?
No.
Ethiopian. Okay, so this is it. Black pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, cumin, and nutmeg.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. It is now my spiced yogurt that I put on everything.
Oh my gosh.
It is like, it was like this thing at the Ethiopian market. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I was like, $1.50. I will, get a little container, and it is game changer. I am so into it.
It would go great with your raw chicken.
That's the last word. For Tom Haberstroh, for our amazing guest, Jen Carroll, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.